what's up, everybody? Welcome to my show. I'm not really sure what show it is anymore as I keep combining formats, which is probably why I don't get as many views as I'd like. No consistency whatsoever. But today, I'm going to combine two of my formats, and that would be unboxing the vinyl as well as a lost classic based on a vinyl that I just got in from Amazon today. This is a top 5 heavy metal album for me. I think this is one of the greatest metal albums of all time. Top to bottom, an absolutely perfect heavy metal album, and I am talking about Anthrax's Sound of White Noise. This album came out May 25th, 1993. It was the first album they made with John Bush after Joey Belladonna left in 92. John Bush left Armored Saint to come sing for Anthrax. This is also the first album of a $5 million deal they had with Elektra Records. That would eventually go sour, but at least for the time, it was a good deal for them. This contains the classics only, Black Lodge, among others. It's been certified gold, and in my opinion, like I said, this is a top 5 metal album for me. I think it's, as far as the 80s Anthrax are concerned, I'm not a huge Belladonna fan. I like the Belladonna era, but I'm not huge. I don't need to listen to, I don't think any of the albums start to finish are, great in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people will attack me for that. This was the album that really sent me over the top as being a fan of Anthrax. And to be honest with you, I don't think the 3 albums that Bush made after Sound of White Noise were anywhere near as good as White Noise. I do think now the Belladonna era, now that it's come back around, the last 2 albums they've made, Worship Music and For All Kings, are pretty comparable to Sound of White Noise. But in my opinion, Sound of White Noise just stands alone as, again, in my opinion, one of the greatest metal albums of all time. Now, I don't know if this was available on vinyl previously when it came out in 93. I do know they've gone back and done some re-releases with Sound of White Noise and Stomp 442, as well as all the anniversary editions of all the 80s stuff. So I'm not really sure if this was available before then, but it's available now. I had to wait for Amazon to get it off back order, and I have it now, and I am super, super, super excited because I've held off on buying any Anthrax on vinyl because this is the one I wanted. So let's go ahead and take a look. Here's my trusty Amazon box. Make sure my address or nothing is on here, in case anybody watches my terrible videos and decides they want to kill me. Let's see. All right. So, boy, I am excited about this. This is the vinyl for Anthrax, Sound of White Noise. I love, love, love this record. So there's the front cover. Hopefully everybody can see that. And here's the back cover. It's very basic, just a track listing for the double album that's in here. Nothing too fancy. Hopefully there'll be something fancier on the inside. But either way, I am super excited to have this. And this looks like this release is back out on Megaforce, which was the original label they were on before Elektra. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and rip this sucker open and see what's inside the vinyl. Or unboxing the vinyl. Because again, I'm not very consistent with my format, my shows, or anything else. So anyway. So hopefully you can see it a little bit better with the plastic taken off. This is, again, the cover of Sound of White Noise. And again on the back here, the track listing. So let's open this bad boy up and see what we have inside. Ah, yes. Here is the picture that was actually the center picture from the CD and cassette editions that came out in 93. It's just a picture of the band eating breakfast in some random diner. Looking all cool and whatever in the early 90s. And it was a time when metal was really, really, really starting to just take off and be completely mainstream. I think grunge helped out a lot with that. Really helped a lot of the heavier, more underground bands really, really reach out, beyond the underground, so to speak. And the success of Metallica and Pantera and others really, really helped, set the stage for, what was to come, in the early to mid 90s with metal's like really, really, massive explosion. So anyway, that's the inside of the cover. So let's just take a look and see what is inside here. Okay. So might be a little bit underwhelming. I pull out the first sleeve. And, we see, I'm not really sure if that's supposed to be a pentagram or just, what that's supposed to be in the middle there. I'll research it and put something up here. But again, your very basic anti-static sleeve. Ooh, I didn't know about this. This is fitting, though. This album is called Sound of White Noise, and this is on fancy white vinyl. That's pretty badass. That is pretty fucking awesome right there. Nothing too much on the on the inner stickers there. It's the same on both sides. So hopefully it says, yeah, it does say side A and side B. I didn't want it to be a guessing game when I went to play the record as far as what I was listening to. Okay, so that's really cool. I like that white vinyl. That is really cool. It probably said it on, it probably said it in the description, and much like emails from work and everything else, I just don't bother to read anything. All right, we'll have to fix that later. So we'll go ahead and come over here and take a look at the other side. And unfortunately, I don't see, any kind of inserts or anything else. This is pretty basic. But again, I'm still happy to have it. I'm happy to have this on vinyl in any way, shape, or form. So it's the exact same thing. Nothing too fancy there. All right. So, I guess in some circumstances it might have been a little overwhelming because there's not like an inside sleeve or anything that gives you any sort of track information or lyrics or anything else. And there's really nothing inside of here as far as, production or anything else, as far as anything to go with the record. However, that white vinyl is really cool. So, take it for what it is. So let's talk about this record just a little bit. Again, like I said, this is a top 5 heavy metal album for me. I don't think I could argue any of my top 5. I could argue the reasons why I think it should be number 1. And this one, like I said, this is one of the most perfect metal albums of all time. Starts off with Potter's Field. Amazing Tune Only, which was the first single from it, was a huge hit on Headbangers Ball and even got some radio airplay. Room for One More, Package Rebellion, High Pro Glow, Invisible. I mean, just all, they all just start out so heavy, 1,000 Points of Hate, Black Lodge, which I guess is a quote-unquote ballad, but it's a metal ballad. It's not like a sappy 80s, hairband ballad or anything. Sodium Pentothal, amazing song. Burst, This Is Not an Exit. And then I'm not really sure if these are just extra tracks. I don't know. I'm not really familiar with these 2 songs that are on here. I see a song called Noise Gate and another one called Bordello of Blood. I'll be honest, I'm not real familiar with those. And those may be available on other deluxe editions of this record. I'm not really sure. I do have deluxe editions in digital format. And I know those also contain covers of Thin Lizzy's Cowboy Song. There's also a cover out there that was a B-side to Black Lodge. It's a cover of Kiss's Lover All I Can that actually does have Paul and Gene guesting with them on the song. So that's pretty cool. So check that out. If you don't want to get the vinyl, check it out on... you can probably find a CD somewhere at a CD store. You can get it off Amazon. You can get it off iTunes, wherever. But again, this, in my opinion, just is one of the most perfect start-to-finish metal albums of all time. I mean, every song on the album is heavy. John Bush has a, more raspy, deeper voice. The music can be a little bit darker. Because I always kind of thought 80s Anthrax, while it was thrashy, was always kind of lighthearted, which was okay. But, I didn't take them as seriously, in those days as I did like Metallica or Slayer or Megadeth or Testament, or Death Angel or any of those other bands. Not that they were a joke band, but, let's just say the first time I heard Gwar, you could have told me Gwar and Anthrax were the same band and I wouldn't argue with you. Take that for what it is. I really think they went into a different direction with this record and they were able to be darker and, in my opinion, heavier than anything they had done in the 80s. And unfortunately, like I said, I don't think any of the follow-up albums they did with John Bush even compared with this. Stomp 442 had its moments. Volume 8 had its moments. We've Come For You All had its moments. But none of them were start to finish perfect like this record is. And like I said, if you want something comparable as far as Anthrax is concerned, the last 2 albums with Belladonna coming back, the Worship Music and For All Kings, very much, kind of dark like this record here is. Maybe not quite as good in my opinion, but, comparable. So check those out. The Belladonna era really kind of brought it back around for me with those last 2 records. But we're not talking about those. We are talking about Sound of White Noise. So the last thing I'll say about this, and, if for the 20 people or so on average that watch my videos, I did a Lost Classic on Judas Priest a couple weeks ago. And on there, I discussed, the title track "Painkiller" being a song that I would use had I really done anything with a career in professional wrestling like I dreamed of when I was a kid. The song "Only" on this record is another song, much like "Painkiller," that I would use, that I would consider using for an entrance song if I was a professional wrestler. It's got that, it just starts out with that. you know, like that whole drum beat, you know, that whole like, you know, and then the thrashy guitar comes in, and it's just like real, I like to call that like strobe light metal. Like you can just see the strobe just going off, you know, like when you see him in concert or whatever, you know, and I can see me coming out, you know, on the entrance ramp, you know, with the strobe just going off, and then, you know, as soon as as soon as that guitar kicks in, it's like I'm just standing on the entrance stage again, like, let's do this, you know, whatever. But I didn't pursue a wrestling career, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately for those that are fans of wrestling would want to see my ass get up there and, you know, underperform. Anyway, so that's all I've got this time. This was a real quick makeshift episode. As I said, this did just come available for me, and I was able to get this off Amazon, and it was delivered, you know, just a little bit earlier today. You know, so I just put this together real quick. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, check out my channel. Go ahead and subscribe. I've got some other videos out there. I've got my Lost Classics, my unboxing. I've even got a new series I'm starting where I discuss live records. I've also got some concert footage from festivals. Welcome to Rockville, Exit 111, before COVID when we could still go to concerts. And, you know, if for anybody that happens to like disc golf, I'm a very piss poor disc golf player. And I've got some very mediocre disc golf videos starring some very mediocre players, myself included. So again, like the channel, like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.